Lifeboat Live. We have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck. Good evening, everybody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and on the other side of the glass, as always, is my partner, Captain Mark Wages, and you are on the lifeboat. Glad that you're all here, and I really appreciate everybody that reached out last night. We had a lot of really cool things that people reached out and said, and we appreciate it. We really do. So just want you to know we love you. So we're getting up on that time of year. This is the time of year when the vast majority of probably the world, but most assuredly this country, begins to decide how they are going to change who they are going into 2023, right? Or whatever the new year is. And it's honestly, it's astounding the number of people that get involved in this, especially when you consider that the vast majority of them are not successful, right? I mean, not even close to successful. I was looking at some statistics, and the funny thing is, before we get into the stats, some of us are doing this again, right? We did this, we talked about this last year, and we had some success last year. There were some people that really did some amazing things. Not everybody, but that's, sort of the nature of what it is we do. 38.5% of adults in the United States are going to make a New Year's resolution, which seems low, doesn't it? Kind of seems like a low number to me. I feel like it was bigger the year before. But 49% of young adults, that is going to be people who fall into the age group of 18 to 34, or as we like to call them, nobody here. That young adult crew is the most active of all people in North America when it comes to doing any kind of getting a New Year's resolution in order and setting a goal for that. The vast majority of everybody has a New Year's resolution that has something to do with health, right? It's always something to do with health. Getting healthy, losing weight, working out. Working out actually this year came in second. It's almost always first. Getting healthy, which I assume has, hand in hand with that. But getting healthy was number one. That is the number one thing that people are listing for what they want to do in 2023. 41% of people that set New Year's resolutions are not going to make it a month. 41%. And the crazy thing is, then the numbers really start getting bad. Then of the people that are left, so many drop off each month that by the time you get to the bitter end, right? By the time you get to about 6 to 8 months out, all but 9% have failed. 91% of people who set goals for the New Year's resolution are going to fall flat on their face and not be successful, and most of them very quickly. So it gets you thinking, why is it that year after year after year, everybody says, all right, this is it. This is the year I'm going to get in shape. This is the year I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to stop smoking cigarettes, right? Whatever it is that somebody says, this is it. Why do we fail so constantly? And it's kind of an important question. I mean, it's not one of those things that we can sort of brush off as, it's kind of interesting, because setting goals and failing is kind of the bedrock of remaining addicted, right? So whether this takes place on New Year's or whether this is something that, you set a goal at any day of the year, very often the reasons that you fail are very, very similar, right? And I think the one that jumps off the paper the most is when you set a New Year's resolution. If I said, what is it? What is your what for the New Year's resolution? You'd say, what is your goal, right? What is your goal for the New Year's resolution? Well, there's a real problem with goals, and especially as they line up in our head. Goals really aren't great for sticking with anything. When you come up with a goal, as opposed to being, say, a process-oriented person, if you're a goal-oriented person, so what I want to do is I want to make sure that my goal is I want to lose 50 pounds, right? That's my goal. Well, you have this number in your head. If the same person comes along and says, here's my plan, right? I am going to cut down my caloric intake. I'm going to count calories, and I'm going to make sure that on any given day, I am not going to take in more than 2,000 calories. I am going to walk for 35 minutes every single day, and 2 days a week, I'm actually going to do some serious cardio. I go out and actually work out. I'm also going to cut out red meat. There's a really damn good chance that that person is going to hit that 50-pound goal, because they didn't just come up with this pipe dream. They didn't just come up with this thing. They actually had a plan. Once again, nobody plans for any of these things. Very often they come up with them a day ahead of time, right? Or they might have started thinking about them a week ahead of time, but it's one of those things that right at the very end, they're like, all right, I got to come up with something. Let's go healthy, right? Or I'm going to put down cigarettes, or I'm going to do. And what really cracks me up, last year at this time, I was working with two different individuals. And right almost exactly this day, might have been a couple of days after Christmas, right? But it was damn close to Christmas. And I was on the phone with one of these individuals, and I said, have you thought about maybe just stopping now? Right? And the person said, well, no, I'm gonna keep drinking pretty hard, but I'm gonna quit on January 1st. And the mindset of I'm just going to keep doing a habit that I know is awful for me because I want to get two more in before I quit. The eye is what? The idea is this is such a great thing and I'm going to miss it so much that I really need to get in a couple of more yayas before we decide that this is the end of all fun for the rest of my life. You know what? Don't bother. Seriously. Don't waste your time on New Year's because you won't make it the week, much less the month. This is like so many people have said that, if you're new to the boat and you've never gone back and watched all of the videos where we interviewed people, one of the things that comes up again and again and again is people that say, you know what? It was a lifestyle change. I didn't just say, I'm going to stop doing this. I literally changed my life. And this is one of those things that may seem like you're splitting hairs, the difference between being goal-oriented or being process-oriented, but it's not. It's really the bread and butter of what makes things like this work or makes things that don't. Mark has said many times, and I think it's probably one of the gems that my partner has come up with while we've been here, that, we got a lot of memories in our head and they don't disappear. So we kind of just got to shove them out of the way. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by piling other memories or other experiences and new experiences and memories on top of them. If you say, my goal is I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 2023, and I say to you, all right, what's your plan? How are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to continue to eat exactly the way I eat, right? That's not going to change because I really kind of dig, the food thing. I like what I eat. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to walk, say, 15 to 20 minutes. There's a decent chance you might knock a few pounds off. But that's not a lifestyle change, right? A lifestyle change is, here is what I'm going to do to dramatically change my life. And if what you're doing is wanting to get off of any addiction, right, you're going to have to do something that is going to occupy your brain during the times that you used to allow drugs to run rampant on it. We talk about this a lot, especially recently. Addiction is what? It's feeling really uncomfortable in your own skin and then trying to figure out a way to make that stop. And the easiest way for most people is with drugs, whether you drink those drugs, smoke those drugs, whatever. But it makes that feeling go away. And then we chase that because the feeling comes back. We don't like it. We do a little more. The feeling comes back. We don't like it. We do a little more. And pretty soon you're 40. Okay? The 20s and the 30s are gone. And what you remember of them probably ain't much. And it's scary as hell, but that really is how it works out. So you're going to need to come up with an idea for what you're going to do for the downtime and for all of the things that are associated with it. So my drug of choice was heroin. You don't spend a tremendous amount of time doing heroin, right? This is a drug that, you put a needle in your arm and for about 8 hours, you don't need to worry about it ever again, right? Then maybe about 8 hours later, you do it a second time. Amazingly, it takes up your entire day, right? Those 2 little blasts will absolutely rewire everything that you do for that entire time that you're awake. And if that doesn't make sense, then that probably wasn't your drug of choice. But you're going to drive out and you're going to sit in the parking lot and you're going to wait for somebody to show up and deliver stuff. You're going to make phone calls. They're going to tell you to move from one place to another. And then you got to chase down funds, right? You got to find the money. It becomes a 24-hour-a-day thing. So when I quit, I was in federal prison when I finally put this stuff down, right? But I had a routine in federal prison. I would come back from breakfast. We would go to one guy's cell. There's about 6 of us that would meet in there, right? We'd pool our funds and go get the stuff. And there was just this sort of ritual. And by the time everybody was done doing what they were doing, they were popping the door to go out to yard. We would all go out there and we did the same thing every single day for months and months. And when the time came for me to lay this stuff down, when those guys walked out that door and I wasn't with them, that feeling of being uncomfortable in my own skin was unbelievable. Honestly, like, have you ever sat somewhere and the silence that you listen to is so damn loud that it hurts your eardrums? Do you know what I mean? It's so quiet that it makes you like, I'm doing this one, right? I'm tapping a foot. I'm doing anything I can because that lack of noise is reminding me that I'm not with a bunch of dudes outside, right? And they feel comfortable in their skin right now because they just did dope. And fortunately, I had somebody that was, right there. I had somebody that was in my unit that really gave a crap about me. Not exactly sure why to this day, but he really gave a crap about me. And, he would come over and say, all right, look, there's some things we need to work on. And he would get me down into his cell and start stacking books, on top of me. And I want you to read these. And there's a couple of chapters I want you to take a look at. And all of these different things that he sort of had lined out to occupy that time so that there wasn't a whole lot of downtime. And what really happened is I started to replace habits with other habits. So I would come back from breakfast, right? I would get into the unit, and when everybody's in the unit back from breakfast, they lock the doors, right? And that's the time when everybody would go and do their dope or whatever. I'd go down to Q cell. And I'd go in there and we'd talk about what we were going to do for the day. And, when I was trying to get a job at Unicor where he worked, he would say to me, you got to go down there every single day with an application. And I just did this until they hated me. Like on the 4th day, the guy said to me, coming down here every day isn't going to get you a job, dude. Don't come down here every day. We'll call you if we're going to need you. And I told Q that. He's like, I don't listen to that. Come down there every single day because the day that they're going to need somebody, they're not going to even want to go and grab a file. They're not going to want to do any of that. Somebody doesn't show up and they're going to go, you, come here, we'll train you. And he was right. I watched 100 people, right, come and put in applications while I was there. And when things went bad and they needed somebody, I was just that guy that was in their face every single day. But even that, once that was gone, it was like, I had about a week before the official training started, and there was a hole in my day because I used to walk up there and sit there and sort of pester these people. And that took about an hour every single day. And then that hour, I felt really uncomfortable in my own skin. It really is a struggle to constantly fill the time that you used to spend doing things that weren't good for you. This is why people do the kind of things that Alan Ballantyne did, right? Alan quit when he quit drinking. I should say this: when he quit meth, he continued to drink. This is probably why, because a bunch of people emailed me. This is probably why he ballooned up to the size he did, because there was no more amphetamines to level out the amount of booze he was putting into his body, and he drank a lot. And it wasn't. I mean, he drank beer. You drink a lot of beer. That's just, they're pretty fattening stuff. It's like drinking a loaf of bread in every bottle, and he was having a lot of them. But as he quit, he always had something that was next. So there was none of that, we have set a goal and we got to it, and then we're like, oh, damn, now what? Right? As we've said so many times, when you first get off of this, if you're not clean right now, or if you got a couple of days of sobriety or whatever, when you first get clean, you get a honeymoon. It might last, I don't know, a week. If you're lucky, it might last a month. But then you're going to realize that you're the same idiot, right? You're the same person that you were completely, right? You may have less dents in your car. You may owe less, money to people. But getting rid of dope isn't going to make you perfect. And it isn't going to make life perfect. It's not going to make the people around you less jackwagony, right? This is something that you're going to have to learn to cope with. And if it sounds like this is doom and gloom, well, then you didn't spend a whole lot of time putting needles in your arm, because that's doom and gloom. Or you didn't spend a whole lot of time drinking until, you'd get up in the morning with your hands shaking like this because you needed one, right? If anytime getting sober sounds bad, you're glorifying your drug, right? Think about the times when, you're not high. Think about the times when you're sitting in a parking lot waiting and your arms are itching or whatever the case may be. Every single drug has different affectations. There's different things that are going to drive you nuts when you do not have your substance of choice. But as we start getting into this new year, may I suggest, you don't wait until the 1st. If you got a drug habit and you think, I'm just going to get high on the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, then right after that last day, I'm just going to put this stuff down. I'd almost be willing to take a bet that that's not going to work out for you well. It's the mindset, people. It is the mindset. This stuff is so good. I'm going to miss it so bad. Got to go through this bag I got, right? I mean, I paid for this thing. Go in the toilet and flush it, right? All in moments. Take your bong, throw it out, right? Get every needle out of your house. Get every bottle out of your house. If you're someone who drinks and you kind of hide it, then there's probably a bottle stashed in at least one bathroom, right? There's probably a bottle stashed in the garage. There's probably, go get everything out of there. Don't leave a ripcord. I'm getting rid of everything, right? But I'm going to leave those 2 Vicodin, just in case this is really going to kill me. And I don't feel like I can I'm just going to leave 2 Vicodin. What if I get hurt? You know what I mean? What if the pain gets really bad? Get rid of it. Get rid of everything you got, right? All in. We talked about this a lot last season, but when you hit the new world and you find this land and it's brand new and it's raw, set fire to the ships that got you there. Because if you don't burn your ships, the first time it gets cold, everybody's going to go, this place sucks. Let's go back home. This is no good. I don't like it here at all. Right? The first time you come across an animal that looks frightening, did you see that thing? Load up. We're out of here, man. I am not going here. And it was something that was done routinely. You get to the new land and you want to develop it, burn your ships. Do not leave a escape route. And now watch how people fight to build shelter. Watch how people fight to start making that a home when they realize they don't have an option to go back. So if you're planning on, look, here's the deal. If your New Year's resolution is to, spend a little bit less time doing X or spend a little bit more time doing, but if you're trying to quit a substance, man, quit it today. Don't BS yourself, right? Nobody here's watching over your shoulder, but don't BS yourself. Get rid of that stuff. Get it out of your life. And I'll tell you something else. Here's a challenge. Cujo, well done, man. 26 days. Got to be happy for that. That is so cool, man.
He did exactly what you said too.
What's that?
He went all in. He says he burned 6 ounces of weed and 14 grams of hash in a campfire.
Is that awesome or what?
That's just really cool.
All in.
Yeah.
I mean, all in. And here he is at 26 days. And the other day he was having a bad time. He was very open and very honest about it. And he said, you know what, man, I just got to get to the morning. I know that tomorrow when the sun comes up, it's going to be different. And that attitude, one day at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time. But I got a challenge to other people. And this may be affecting you, and it might not affect you a lick. Maybe it affects people around you, like children, right? Cousins, whatever. Social media is an issue. We did a show on TikTok. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. But that is an addiction. And if it sounds silly to you, then you just never really listen to exactly what we're talking about when the brain fires a little dopamine to reward you for whatever you just did, right? Well, that's what's happening with social media. It fires a little bit of dopamine, and it's basically reaffirming everything you're doing constantly, right? It is reinforcing bad behavior, or in this case, slave behavior. No joke. And as we talked about, they've got AI to figure out exactly how long they can keep you there, because that's what they want, right? They would like you there 16 to 18 hours a day. So they will keep you there until, you start clicking, too fast, or you start doing whatever, and AI is like, this dude's about to leave. All right, give him one of those videos he loves, or maybe 3 of them in a row, right? Let's get a little dopamine in there. Let's let him make him feel good. And now we'll send some advertisements, we'll send some garbage, we'll send whatever. And if you bail off, it's going to remember. It's going to remember how long you waited. It's going to remember what time of day you waited, right? After 5 o'clock, he's good for this much time between videos, right? 4 o'clock, that's completely different. In the middle of the night, if that sounds crazy or paranoid, people, do a little research. They say this is the most advanced AI on the planet. How's that crap? Huh? For dance videos, right? Because that's what we need. Most advanced AI on the planet for dance videos. So if you're struggling with social media, or someone that is struggling with social media, talk to them and do it nicely. But the truth of the matter is they're addicts. They are. They're addicted. And there are people who put so much time in, that it's, if you just take and compare it to any drug, is it adversely affecting your life? What did you used to do before you started doing this, right? What are you neglecting because you're spending 14 hours a day watching dance videos, right? Or whatever you're justifying that with, right? Look at the things that you are allowing somebody to let into your life, right? No choice at all. And people say, well, social media altogether is just a cesspool. Yeah, it is. But on some of these cesspools, you can really choose more or less what you're going to look at, right? Not on this one. They're going to just fire things at you, one right after the other, and you're going to go right, left. And apparently you can go up, down, left, right. Like there's just 1,000 ways to, to really hop it up. This is really going to give you an opportunity to take your social media addiction and bring it to the next level. If you spend 7 hours a day on Instagram, or you're spending 6 hours a day on Facebook, may I make a suggestion that for your New Year's resolution, you turn that thing off for an hour a day. 1 hour a day, kill it, right? Nothing. Ditch the phone, ditch the computers, have 1 hour a day where you cannot be reached by anything electronic. You do that for 1 week, and then come back here and tell me your life is worse. Tell me your life is worse because you turned that crap off for 1 hour a day. But if you can come back here and say, honestly, yeah, you know what, Tommy, probably getting a little bit more done. I really am. I'm probably doing this. Okay, good. Can you imagine what 2 hours a day might be able to do for you? Anything. The very famous public speaker once said, 1 hour a day, man. You choose 1 hour a day to do anything. And in a year, you'll be an expert. How about if you take 1 hour a day and dedicate it to being the best you can be? How about if you took 1 hour a day and dedicated it to staying sober? For real. Make 1 hour a day where you're going to, and I'm not talking about us, we're going to be here because we like hanging out with each other. I mean, do a little research, right? Spend a little time reading about anything that is in direct relation to what you're fighting, right? If your substance of choice is alcohol, read what it does to the brain. For real. Read what it does to the brain. All of it. Because people love to say, a glass of red wine a day is really, really good for your blood pressure. And that very well may be the case. I am not going to argue that. But a glass of red wine a day is really freaking bad for your brain. And if you do a little research, you're going to find out I'm dead right. And there is nobody that is going to argue that point. In fact, you can go online and you can take a look at a brain of somebody that, abused this substance, or somebody that abused that substance, or somebody. Look at all of them, right? Look at all of them. See what you think. Yep. See what it looks like, the damage being done to someone's.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Well played, Rip.
Let me say something to Rip real quick. Hey, brother, I forgot to give you a shout out yesterday, and I felt really bad when I got offline. You are one of the most well-spoken, upstanding people I've ever met in my life.
A lot of truth to that.
I mean, you really have added so much to this boat, and added so much to me, my life personally. I can't thank you enough for being my friend. So, just wanted to say that. Anyway.
And while we're feeling good, you look out and you see Charlie Mullins, and that's awesome. But I see Mary as well, and we're just Mary. We're really happy that you're doing well. We're really happy that.
That's
that
Charlie's wife.
Better. Yeah,
I didn't
Mary
know
Murphy.
that. I didn't know that.
That's Charlie Murphy's wife.
Oh, okay. Duh.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For real.
Absolutely. So, Rip Curl Readiness, Ilea agrees.
Yep.
So, this is me. Truthfully, I'll level with all of you. So New Year's is coming up for all of us, right? It's no different for me than it is for Mark, than it is for everybody on the boat. So, I don't know what my New Year's resolution is going to be. And that's the honest truth. I don't know. But what I have been doing is trying to figure out the things in my life that are moving me further away from my goals, and the things in my life that are moving me closer to my goals. And then I'm not thinking, all right, I got to eliminate this. I'm thinking, I got to replace it. Because if I can replace the things that are keeping me from getting where I want to get with something that is absolutely going to push me toward where I want to be, that's the best possible case scenario. Because when I stop doing whatever that bad habit is, I'm not going to sit there and feel weird in my own skin, because I'm going to be doing something during that time. I'm not going to sit around, right? One of the things I absolutely need to work on is I'm not a very patient person. And when things are good, right? I guess when things are good, everybody's patient, right? when things are good, it's not a problem. But when things start getting away from me, I have ability to very quickly, lose it. And I really have been working on it. I've been working on it for a long time. I really have. But coming up this year, there's a couple of things that I'm going to do to dramatically cut down on this. And one of them I should probably share with everybody here. The allocation of time. The best thing that is happening for our boat is the speed at which it's growing, right? It really is awesome. There's a lot of people that are pushing this out. They're sharing it. And we're growing by a pretty good clip, and it's getting better every single day. But today's a great example. When the lifeboat ends today, not 2 minutes will go by before I'm going to make a phone call to talk to somebody one-on-one that I've got a whole lot of hope for. I think this is really, and they're watching right now, so I really should say that too, but got a whole lot of hope for helping this person. And I think that, the best version of this person needs to get out, and they're willing to talk to me, which is a pretty good sign. So that's what I'm going to do, which means I'm not going to jump over there and instantly answer comments, which is usually my routine, right? If you've noticed that I haven't gotten back to you on comments very quickly, the number one reason is we've been spending a lot more time talking to people one-on-one. right? And which there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. In fact, that's probably the most important thing we could do here. So if it looks like I drop off a little bit on comments, people, that's why it is. I'm prioritizing. And you know what? More of you. If everybody left comments, one of the reasons you answer comments is because the algorithm doesn't distinguish between us answering back, right? You write, we answer back. That's 2 comments. That's interaction. They love that. So if we don't answer back, it's about half of what we would normally get, and it doesn't push us out as far, and yada yada. So I'm going to try to get to them, people. I really am. But if I don't, it is not a personal slight. It is not anything like that. It's just a matter of sort of reorganizing so that we can spend enough time doing what we really need to do. Amazingly, we're having a lot of success. One of the other things is if I don't work with somebody, there's one of the reasons is this. I don't think you're in real danger, right? If I'm working with somebody and I'm taking time or I say to you, hey, you know what? I'm not calling you tonight. Something really big just came up. It's probably me saying, you're not in any danger, right? You're doing all right. We'll get up, we'll talk, whatever. But the person that I'm going to deal with is the person that really, really needs to quit, right? The person that really is in danger of, there are substances out there that, I mean, if you did it for the rest of your life, it's not going to kill you. And there are substances out there that if you do for the next 4 months, there's a really good chance it's going to kill you. So we are going to be prioritizing. Also, I think that in the upcoming year, we're going to try. I love it. Christopher Allen says, my New Year's resolution is to eat more barbecue. I like it. Set the bar high. Do you have a specific number in mind? Are you thinking like, is this a 4-day-a-week thing, right? Because you really need to clearly define what your resolution is. I'd like to think you're going at least 4 or 5 days a week.
And to circle back, as right. One of the famous people said up at the place on the hill.
Yeah, the place on the hill.
Yeah, we could use some help in the when we're doing stuff like this. If you guys go in there and leave comments and help us reply to one another, especially those who have been here for a while, that does help. That can help, get that algorithm staying the same, at least, if we can't get to it right away. I admit, I have a hard time getting over there, even commenting back. I've been trying to do it more often than what I did in the past. It's hard. Tommy gets it. I know he does. I just, but I could do better at it. I'll be the first to admit it. I could do better at that. But I would love for you guys to be able to come over there and do that too. If we could see five responses under each comment. I mean, it could be, hey, good comment. That's all it has to be. Or, hey, I love you. It's all
good looking out.
Yeah.
In fact, we had somebody last season that used to come to just about every single show, and they would write, I comment, or I commented. And that was all that they wrote. And you know what, people, the algorithm isn't really taking the time to figure out exactly what is being said. I promise you, they're just looking for interaction. It's like the old days. You used to be able to do a thumb up or a thumb down, and it would actually kind of keep track of that stuff. But apparently there was somebody who got so many thumbs down that they decided they didn't want the world to know that nobody liked anything that was coming out of this person's house.
Yeah.
Okay. So they did away with that. But we used to say, in the beginning, it's tough when you first get started because somebody gives you a thumb down and you're like, well, damn, that sucks. I got 4 thumbs down. Like, what the hell is that all about?
Right.
But what you come to realize is it literally does not make a difference to the algorithm. What it means is somebody cared enough about what they were looking at to hit a button, and that's really all they want to see. A down is as good as an up. What's up?
That's right. No, and people that haven't been here the whole time since we've been here, this is why the comment section is the biggest reason that tipped us off to do live streaming. Because I kept telling Tommy, I've never seen a comment section do what it did. We would get, 40 views on a video and have double
300 comments.
Yeah, and 300 comments. And I'm like, what in the world is that?
It was all you guys doing exactly what you do here now.
Yeah.
It's like this was your chat. except you guys would do it like right after a video. If you were there, it was just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And, that's how a lot of you got to know each other before we did go live the first time. And once we did, it was, that was really a funny experience because we went live the first time and went, well, guess we're a live show, because it was just, everybody was, if you think about it, this show is very, very conducive to doing live, because the idea is, the opposite of addiction is connection. So this is far more of a connection than is something static where you can't sort of respond in real time to one another. And it just works. It really does. It works a whole lot better. And as far as sort of nuts and bolts things go, there's one other one, and I'm not stepping on anybody. But the other night I did a thing, and I remember it's funny as hell because I said it. I said, you know what? There were 3 people. So if you think I'm talking to you, there's a decent chance. That was a waste of my oxygen, to be really honest. But all 3 of them are 100% convinced I was talking to them. And 2 of the 3 seem to have taken serious offense or umbrage at this and decided I'm a dirtbag or whatever. And which is all cool. For real, everyone, you're all entitled to any opinion you want. And I'm not going to block people for that, but I'm also not going to stick around for abuse. If it's one of those situations where we're working together and I think I can move you forward, and we're on it, there's not much I wouldn't do. And we got a pretty good crew right now that we're working with. I really am. There's so many of you that are really doing amazing stuff. And there's a lot of you who are working with other people yourselves, which I think is incredible. I'll talk to someone and they'll say, well, I've been talking to so-and-so. And I just think, boy, that's the boat, right? That's the dream of this, that every single person here can help every other person that shows up. But I want to make sure that everybody knows I'm going to be positive for the entire 2023. I am, bottom line. And something hit me earlier. I was talking with my older brother, much older brother. Anyway, I was talking with him and I said, I was thinking of walking outside because I found myself uncomfortable in my own skin. It's just, things didn't feel quite right. And, maybe it's the day after and, day after Christmas, whatever the case may be, but didn't feel right in my own skin. And so I started getting ready to walk outside and do my thing. And I really came to realize that this right here makes me feel comfortable in my own skin more than anything in the world. And that is the truth. Hey, North Opera, good to see you, brother. You look good in green.
That's right, baby. Put that life jacket on.
All right, looking good. I truthfully and honestly mean that connection for me. Working with people one-on-one and trying to help people. I am never uncomfortable in my own skin when I'm doing this. Whether I'm doing it staring at a camera, whether I'm talking to one of you on the phone, and I can be doing real bad when I call somebody. But the second that I start talking to them, that stuff just falls away. And I think you kind of got to look for it, right? Maybe that's not going to be the thing that makes you comfortable in your own skin. But at some point, you're going to do something and go, damn. Like I said to my brother, I'm like, I have never been uncomfortable doing the boat. I've never been uncomfortable helping anybody. This, and I said it jokingly a couple of times, but this has become my drug of choice. This has become, how I feel comfortable in my own skin. And something? It makes perfect sense to me. All the science that they talk about, well, service to others does all of this, great stuff in the brain, and it's got to. Okay? There's no other explanation for what we're doing here. There's no other explanation for us putting in the time and the effort and coming back. We left and we were uncomfortable in our own skin for about a month. Both of us. It was just not a good situation. We had really become dependent. I can live with that.
Oh, yeah.
We had really become dependent. Healthy drug of choice. Thank you, Matt. See, I think it is. It certainly beats the hell out of my last one, right? So in 2023, I am vowing to work on relationships better here on the boat. I really am. And that's going to happen in a couple of ways. It's definitely going to happen with me working in close proximity to some people that I really think need help. And I'm always going to make sure that happens. It's also going to mean putting up some boundaries so that I'm not necessarily, talking 4 times a week to somebody that's on Easy Street. I love you all. I really do. But the idea is we got to help as many people as possible. And, the two of us are limited in the amount of time that we can spend, talking to people. And we're just going to sort of triage this thing. We're gonna prioritize the people that we work with based on how likely is their substance abuse. How likely is it to kill them? Plain and simple, right? There are things that out there that really we better stop someone from doing it. And then the other ones, sure, everything's going to kill you, but some of them could kill you by tomorrow. And we don't want to lose anybody more. Any more people. We really don't. And then one of the last things that I want to talk about tonight before I let my bobbleheaded partner talk for the rest of the time that we're here. A lot of people have reached out to me and asked me what happened at the end of last night's video. And if you're new to the boat, I probably didn't sound clear. So yesterday, during the day, Q's mom reached out to me and we talked a little bit, and it was not the first time we've been in communication before. But she said that he's got to work on Christmas, which I thought, it's pretty rugged, but this happens quite a bit inside. The idea being that if there's an order of shirts for the military that has to be done, then they're going to work, and they don't really care about your holiday or any other thing. And in there, it's not much of a celebration anyway. But when he's at work in that facility, he has access to a phone that doesn't necessarily only work for 15 minutes. So he had the opportunity to talk to his mother, and his mother said that she was going to give him the opportunity to listen to some of the Lifeboat, and it was just an amazing thing, for me, because this is the guy that, I don't know, this was my Captain Tommy before there was a Captain Tommy, right? This was the guy that took an interest in helping me for no apparent reason and really did a pretty good job of it. And I know for a fact that he's working with somebody else now. He's just that guy. And having an opportunity, when his mom found out that there was 3,500 people, that were here, and I said to her that she wouldn't be here without your kid. You know what I mean? At one point she said, there are times I feel like he wasted his life. And I think this really, really gave her some peace that he may have done some really stupid things at a very young age, but boy, oh boy, he's really fought his ass off to make the world a better place. And there aren't enough people that do that. So I really, when I was talking to my bobbleheaded partner before we went live, I broke down what I was going to, at the end, I'm going to talk to, and I thought I would keep it together. It didn't work very well. And it's not the first time. I'm one of those people, and I think it may have something to do with getting sober. I was talking to somebody else today from the boat who said, these days I'm a wreck. I cry at everything. And I don't know if that's something that just happens after we get sober, or you just, you're sort of heightened in, I don't know, sensitivity. Like I'm a much more sensitive person than I used to be, and reflecting back and things, it was just. But that was what happened yesterday when I kind of collapsed at the end of the.
The fog's gone,
Yeah.
I think that's a lot to do with it. I really do.
Probably a great way to put it. You're not dulling yourself, so everything is a whole lot more raw, and all of those emotions that you kind of put to sleep for 30 years are wide awake.
Yep.
So, how was your day?
Mine was we're doing okay over here today. We're just trying to, the day after Christmas is always an interesting thing, and dare I say, on some levels, a little bit depressing. We get all hyped up for Christmas, right? And as we go through Christmas Day, everything's cool. We're all sitting around, all fat and happy on the couch, hand in our pants, watching Christmas Vacation. You wake up the next day and you're back to regular life, trying to find places to put things that people got you, and it's that's what we do.
It's a crash.
100%. Great way to say it. But yeah, today's been, it's been okay though. It's not bad. It's just one of those things that you deal with. I liken it to like being on vacation for like 2 or 3 weeks and then having to go back to work for the first day. That really sucks. But but and to touch on the Q thing too. And I know that the paying it forward thing is kind of a cliche thing to say, but a cliche is a great thing.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened there. He paid it forward. Tommy's paying it forward. And now look at all these people. Just think about this, guys. If one of those links in that chain was not there, it would have been broken. All these things had to be put together in a specific order and for a specific reason. We've all been through the things that we've been through for whatever reasons those are. We're never going to know all the reasons. We just won't. We can sit here and guess at it, but it's just a waste of time to do that. But
no question.
And if you guys looked at the thumbnail, can we save the world? No, I don't. We can save the way we save the world is saving what's right here in front of us and who we are and what we're doing here. And then guess what? When that group of people pays it forward, and then the next group of people pays it forward, it grows like an Amway tree. It truly does. Right. It snowballs. It just gets big, and it gets big really, really fast if people do that. And I do understand, especially with people that are new in recovery or whatever, it's kind of hard to step out and do what we're doing. Make no mistake that when me and Tommy did this, we were not new in recovery. Okay? We had a lot of time underneath our belt. All right? And we still get things wrong sometimes. Okay? It's just, that's life. Right? But we do our due diligence, and we do try to, do the best that we can. And to go to like what Tommy was saying about talking to people, Tommy gets a buttload of calls, right? I don't. You guys can call me too. Okay. I'll answer. I will answer the emails. I will do all of that. And I understand why. Tommy's face is on the screen. I'm not right. saying anything negative here at all. I get why that is happening. But I guess maybe that's one place that I haven't been to, successful at by mentioning this more often. So I probably should, because it's not fair to Tommy to have to take all this stuff and then it just gets piled on him. And I see it makes him struggle. Not really struggle. It just makes him busier than what he really needs to be. And I know he doesn't want to tell somebody, hey man, email Mark. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just like a jerk move, but so please, guys, if you're comfortable with me talking to you, I'll do it. It's not I want to do it. And that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, while I'm being a jerk, just real briefly, do you know how many people reached out to me last night and said, boy, you were having a party at your house last night? And I said, what are you talking about? I'm like, there was nobody at my house last night. You know what I mean? There was nobody here. So apparently whatever was going on at your house, I got all the credit for over on my house.
Oh, okay.
You can even look in the chat. The number of people who were like, boy, they're partying at Tommy's house. I guess the background noise sounded like it was coming from the Yeti.
Oh,
but, yeah, I was all alone in here last night.
Really? Was Johnny here last night?
It's really funny. What's that?
Johnny wasn't here last night with us, was he?
Nope.
No, I didn't think so.
It was just you and me last night.
Oh, that's weird. All right. Yeah, well, my family was here, but all my boys and everything. We had a dog and stuff, so I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I
just don't get to party, and I mean, like, I don't ever party. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? There's nobody here. Literally nobody here.
Yeah, it does get a little loud when I got all my kids here, and we're all, we're just having a good time and stuff.
It is Christmas.
Yeah,
I mean, it is Christmas.
I'm not upset about it. I'm not saying that. I do try to not let that happen. And guys, I got another mic in the other room that I'm going to be getting hooked up. It's a Yeti also. There's noise cancellation stuff with that, so that's going to get better. Right now, believe it or not, I'm using a really, really cheap pair of just headset mic. But there's things I can do. So I want to hear those things from you guys when that happens. Okay.
Well, they were trying. They were just telling me.
Oh, okay.
Tracy Klein, welcome to the Lifeboat. We're glad that you're here. Tracy is new.
Tracy's new.
Tracy Klein.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool,
welcome.
Cool.
And also thoughts and prayers for Carolyn's daughter, Taylor's health. and healing, please. You got it.
Got it. Yeah.
You got it. And we're definitely glad that you're here. It's a perfect time to be new to the boat.
But
For real.
Yep. But as far as my New Year's resolutions, I typically don't even make New Year's resolutions. I have, I'll say, hey, I really want to try to do this better next year, or what have you. But a true resolution, I really don't put a whole lot of thought or whatever into that. But I will say this: I try to live my life throughout the whole year that way. I try to make it the best I can every day. It's just what I do. I have to. I can't not. I fight anxiety really, really bad. And I know that everybody that's been here for a minute probably knows that already, because I've mentioned it before. And right now, it's bad. It's just a season, okay?
Yeah.
So, and knowing this, that helps. That helps me understand that I'm not going down a stupid path. It's just something that's happening that I have to deal with. And I, here in about a month or two, I'll have a completely different thing to say to you guys, because it will. I can see it go away. I can feel it going away just from the
I'll
season
bet you
change.
it's 8 days.
Yeah.
I swear to you, I will bet you it's 8 days.
Yeah.
You know what? And having done, you've been in YouTube a whole lot longer than me, and he would say things in the first season like, September was there, and he's like, oh yeah, well don't expect it to be like this all year, because way more people get on the big red button in September. And I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. But when we came around this year, it was the exact same thing. And for people that do what we do, right, uniquely here on the Lifeboat, January that's the money, right? That's when you got the best chance of helping an awful lot of people. It's going to be in January, because everybody sort of has this mindset of, we got a shot at a new me, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, but January 2nd, the holidays are over, and the attitude's just sort of, it's kind of like you were talking about today, right? Christmas is behind us. All right, all those holidays are over. New year, let's do this.
I can definitely agree with that.
Up.
Definitely agree with that. And I think it's, guys, notice how he worded that. That was nothing there scripted. That's just how he feels. And when we point out what I mean by that, he didn't say, hey, January, we're going to get all the new subs. you know what I mean? What did he say? January is when we're going to have the opportunity to help as many people as we possibly can. There's a difference there, guys. That's the difference between us and a lot of other channels. Not all other channels, because there are a couple out there that we get behind that feel the same way as we do. But at the end of the day, we can't keep doing what we do unless we are, growing. We have to stay growing and moving forward and helping everybody that we can. And that's why we even bring it up. That's why we even try to do the YouTube-y things. That's what I call them. Sharing, liking, all that stuff. And a little back office real quick. Your life jackets, anybody that's been a member, when the month rolls over, okay, into the next month, if you stay a member, that life jacket's going to change to another badge. Okay? I can't remember which one I picked. I
don't remember either off the top of my head.
But it's in the perks thing. If you guys go look at it, you guys can find it too. But it changes with the month, the amount of months that you're a member.
Right.
Okay? It's not going to change when you go up like a different, whatever, like a different tier, like going from ensign to lieutenant or what have you. But, I just want to make sure you guys knew that. So if your guys' life jacket starts to change here in the next, I can't remember when we started this, but
Matt C made a great comment.
Go ahead.
Literally a great comment.
Let me read it.
Matt C said, that is why I like my routines. Let me see if I can. That's why I like my routines. Every day doing this and that to keep me aligned. And the holidays always throw me off because the routines get changed. You know what, man? That really is genius, because that's the truth. And I don't think I've ever worded it that way or even quite thought about it that way. But it is one of those things that, when I was inside, it's the same thing. All of a sudden, they start closing things down at certain times. And, you really, I've found that as long as I've been sober, if you get a routine going, if you do the same things, if you know when you're doing the same things, I really truthfully believe that sobriety loves routine.
Oh,
I really believe that.
God.
So, Yeah, that's a great comment, man.
Yeah.
It really is. Thank
Well,
you, Matt.
You know, and I would even take it a step further. Concentrate on your hygiene. Yeah, that is one of the biggest things that you can look for. If anybody in your life starts letting their personal hygiene slip, you better be asking them questions.
First sign.
And you don't have to be over, hey, man, you stink. What's wrong with you? No, don't do that. Just go say, hey, you all right? You know, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? You okay here, there, wherever? You know, that doesn't even have to be drug related. That could just be complete depression. People go through that. You know, we keep the suicide helpline at the bottom left along with the national drug helpline. So just know that. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that that's there. And, you know, and again, guys, you know, we're here. And you guys can contact me too if you need to or if you want to. I'm more than willing. It's not like that. I actually have a little guilt because of some of the stuff that Tommy has to try to deal with throughout the day sometimes, and I have no way to help him because, you know, everybody's contacting him. And like I said, it's not your guys' fault. It's me. My anxiety sometimes will not let my face be on that screen. Okay, if my face is on that screen, sometimes you'll get something from me that you don't want to see. And all it is me trying to find my thoughts. I squirrel so bad if I start getting anxious. And I'm working on it. Tommy's actually helped me with that a lot. He's taught me a lot of tools and stuff that I can do. And believe it or not, the way I'm speaking now has developed into something that's a lot better than what I used to be just by his advice. And I hope you guys can hear it in what I say. I try to make sure that if I start a thought, I finish it. You know, those kinds of things. And he's given me ways to be able to try to stay concentrated. And, you know, that's something I fight.
You're killing it.
So.
No, it is. It is. And you know, especially, you know, Wages World was structured in such a way that you got very, very comfortable doing it in a specific way. And then, you know, I know that people would like to see it another, but and let's be really honest, we kind of based ourselves on a show that does it that way as well. Greg F says, been listening, hard for me to read the chat. Good night, everyone. Greg has reached out to me, and after the C+ math, his vision took a real hit. And I would love if everybody could keep him in thoughts and prayers, because we really would like his vision to come back. Greg's been on the boat a really, really long time. He's a good dude. And yeah. Greg, we're glad you're there. We're glad you're listening, bud.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers.
For sure, man. That's it. Yeah. And that's, you know, I hate to hear that about that, guys. I mean, that's one of those things that, yeah. But we're here for each other, right? And, you know, and I think that that's something that's special here. And I don't know. I know we keep saying it, Tom. We keep saying we're different than everybody else. And it sounds like we're almost kind of conceited or arrogant on that, but we're not. It's really true that when we
proud,
say, yeah,
proud
we're proud. That's
word.
probably better. Yeah.
You know, might be a better word. You know what, people, honestly, I think what it comes down to is there was a fear, and it, not just with us, but with everybody, that I remember in the beginning when we first went live and things were really just clicked and everybody was so happy. And so many times people said, yeah, that's great, but wait till you get to about, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 people, and there's, you know, 100 people in the chat, and it really seems to have not affected this at all. And that's, again, not a tribute to us; it's a tribute to you guys. And if we're bragging about the crew, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to do that anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? For real.
Yeah.
I mean, what makes this? If you really take a good hard look at everything that we do, you know, on the Lifeboat, and I mean while we're live. You know, the stuff that we do afterwards is a different subject. But while we're live, we're not splitting the atom here, people. We're really not. Like we've said from the very beginning, we try to pick some stuff that will keep people thinking and start conversations so that you guys can work your magic. And that's really kind of how this has been going since about September of 2021, right?
Yep.
Right,
well, Blue Dazzle's in here. Ask her about that. About meeting somebody here. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah. You know what I mean, guys? I mean, that's just what happens. It's awesome stuff, guys. It really, truly is. It truly is.
The relationships have continued to build. And you know what else? The numbers are popping up every single day. which really is again is a real tribute to all of you sharing this out. You know what I mean? If we look out on the deck and we got in the ballpark of 70 people out there, then you guys are really you're doing everything you can to help as many people as possible, and that really is the dream, man. Yep. And as we get into January 1, that it's the absolute best time of the year to try to get anybody to take a look at what they're doing in life. So let's get really excited for 2023. This is going to be the best year any of you have ever had. I absolutely believe that, and it's sure as hell going to be the best year the boat's ever had. What do you think?
I 100% agree with that. I mean, I told you earlier, I'm all in.
Yep, no question.
I'm all in, man. I'm pushing all my chips in. We're going to do this, and that's what we do.
Mark's World.
Yeah.
Party time. Nice. Good reference. All right. So we will be back.
Yeah, right? We will. Tomorrow.
What week is it?
Tomorrow. We got one more day.
We will be back tomorrow night. Same squirrel time. Same squirrel channel. Between now and then, reach out and try to save somebody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville on the other side of the glass.
Mark, Captain Wages.
Cat in the basket. She is had a New Year's resolution to sleep more. We'll be here. Good night, everybody. We love you.